What are hints that women give that most men don't pick up on? I had a co-worker girl ask me one time if I could help her move her bed, which I thought was odd. It's pretty doable with one person. I get to her house and she has like an 18-year-old brother. I was like, why didn't you ask him to help? I moved the bed, then left. The next day at work, I had some girlfriends ask, did I get lucky? I was confused and said no, I just moved her bed for her and left. They all laughed at me, ha ha ha. If I keep glancing down at the pickles sitting on your plate that you're not eating, I want it. I once got yelled by my female co-worker. She said, haven't you noticed that for the last 2 months, the first thing I do when I arrive is come to your desk and say hello, and that I don't do that for anyone else? I honestly hadn't noticed. I did notice she always arrived later than me. That is the only thing I had noticed. Honestly. Anyway, after that little bit of frustration and yelling, we did end up having a thing for a while. I once asked a guy if I could kiss him. We had been hanging out in a way that was conducive to that, and he said yes. I kissed him. It was great. But then we just parted ways naturally. 3 days later, this man called me all shocked that I was hitting on him. He told a friend about the interaction, and they had to point it out. Sir, I literally kissed you. All of them. Seriously, if you're a man like me, I'm terrible at hints. She'd have to explicitly tell me that she likes me, wants to be with me, and even then, I'd be scared that I'm getting pranked, because that's happened to me before. Literally anything that isn't let's have sex right now. And even then, I would think I'm getting scammed. I've messed up so many interactions with women, it's silly. The only one that I understood she was hitting on me was the time my roommate and I threw a New Year's Eve party. I was sitting on the couch with a drink talking to people when a chick I've never met before, or since, comes over, takes the drink out of my hand. She then cuddled in next to me and put my arm around her. At that point, I was like, okay, this is different, but good. Then she does something I couldn't miss to indicate she was interested. She put my hand down her shirt, in her bra, and on her right boob. To say I was shocked was an understatement. A sizable number of guys don't want to come off as being creepy or overly forward. The result is that people of this sort will see a clear hint and brush it off as they probably don't mean it that way. Anecdotally, back in high school, a pretty girl sat next to me for about 2 weeks at lunch and would make comments like, I could really see myself with someone like you, while also being exceptionally handsy. I naturally assumed she didn't mean literally me and just thought, neat. I guess I'm not hopeless after all. After she realized that I wasn't being very responsive to her hints, she just stopped joining me at lunch. Ladies, if you're reading this and you've got your eye on a fella, just go ahead and be blunt about it. We are incredibly dense at the best of times. We won't think you're weird. We won't think you're a creep. Keeping the conversation short, no intention in prolonging the conversation at all. After a thorough analysis of this thread, I've concluded that both men and women are terrible at this. I was about to comment that I have never even been hit on, but then I realized the problem at hand. The reason I smiled at you is not because I like you, it's just simple kindness. When I was younger, I had a girl over a few times to watch DVDs. We never had anything physical except she started to ask for a massage, and also give one, after every movie. She took off her shirt and unzipped the bra so I can get everywhere on her back. And I just massaged her back until it was her turn to massage me, which she also did every time. After the 5th date when I was done massaging, she sat up and forgot to close the bra and turned my way and said playfully, "Oh, you, OFC?" You would stare. I turned away, apologized, and turned away. Do I have to mention this was the last time I saw her? Sometimes I want to invent a time machine just to travel back and slap my teenage self in the face. Hard. I once went on a New Year's Eve with a girl to see fireworks. We get to kiss cheeks as sort of good luck, but also because I was hesitating to kiss her lips. Then we went home and it was winter, so it was quite cold, and my hands were freezing because I forgot to bring gloves. She offered to put my hands into her body inside the shirt near almost breast. It was quite good and GL. also the warmth. I walked her to her place and told her that I like her, but she said she didn't like me. I was flirting my arse off with a guy I met at work. I would always randomly brush his hand or arm, make extended smiling eye contact or whatever. I never went in for the hug because, hey, it was the workplace. Turns out he was picking up those signals, but he didn't believe them. He's a good friend of my roommate who's a gay woman. Because I live with her, he thought I was her girlfriend. That changed when we all went out to a social event after work and her actual girlfriend showed up. That's when he learned I was straight and single. We were dating by the next week, and now we're engaged. Squee. The problem with hints is that they rarely mean one thing. Or maybe to the woman they mean one specific thing. But that's only because she's the only one privy to her chain of reasoning. The one she's speaking to doesn't have that benefit. So to him, she could be saying one of many things. And there's a risk associated with some of the interpretations. Sometimes men do indeed fail to pick up on subtle hints. But that's just because that's now how we communicate in general. Men are taught to be direct. Women are taught to be more subtle. Other times, men are being cautious and deliberately choose the safer option. No one wants to come off as creepy or ruin a friendship by misinterpreting a comment or friendly gesture as flirting. Also, it's not like all women use the same hints and have those words or actions mean the same thing. Some women expect men to think like them, so their hint is understand my language by repeating to speak in that language of not direct communication. Funny, because when I want to communicate with someone from UK, I don't start talking in Swahili. Ever since the Me Too movement, most guys have been more conscious of not reading friendliness as interest. Which is not to say I am against the Me Too movement. I am glad women are feeling more comfortable coming forward with their stories. Also, I am glad men are being more respectful of women. That said, a side effect is men are even less likely to act on hints now. We don't want to be the creep who misread friendliness as interest and ruin a friendship or make a friend group awkward. Also, one girl's hint is another girl's friendliness. It's hard for us to keep track. Some girls hug everyone, some girls don't. Some girls smile a lot and make lots of eye contact. Some don't. Doesn't have to be a let's fuck right now. It can be a simple, hey, do you want to grab lunch? Just you and me. And if that goes well and he doesn't pick up on it, you can follow it up with, I had a good time with you. Want to go on a real date sometime? Guys are, for the most part, direct about things. If you want us to understand, again, for the most part, be direct. That's the language we speak. A woman could have a genuine conversation with me, and I wouldn't pick up on the hint, because the conversation or things she says is quite literally what a lot of other girls say. Those girls were not interested. You get so used to thinking that just because a girl looks interested, it doesn't mean she actually is. Not to mention the risk of being labelled a creep if you make a risky gamble. A woman could smile, laugh, have an open body posture, ask about my life, and I'd still think she's just normally like that. Ever have one of those cringe moments that haunts you for the rest of your life? Yeah. This one still makes me wince. Granted, in my defense, I was 15 and had never touched a titty before. My first girlfriend throughout freshman year never wanted to do anything more than kiss, so when I started dating my second girlfriend the next year, I thought that was normal. We were making out hot and heavy every unsupervised second we got together, but that was it. One day, she came over on a day when my mom wasn't home, in a low-cut top that plunged down between her tits. As we're making out, my innocent, naive ass thought, uh-oh, better be extra careful where my hands go. In the middle of making out, she stops, looks me in the eye, and softly purrs, "Where is my heart?" I panic, and very carefully, nervously, tap a single careful finger on her sternum, making sure I didn't touch either breast. She literally rolled her eyes and went, "Ugh!" Pulled her top down and her tits out, grabbed my hand firmly and placed it on her tit, staring me in the eye firmly. I had a second of confused panic, like, I'm not supposed to do that. And then realization hit me like, oh, yeah, I still cringe at my naivety. One girl could be dancing and grinding on you naked at a party, but the moment you try and make a move, she'll be like, WTF, bro, we're just friends. Another girl could offer you her half-eaten Subway chips, you'll eat them, move on, and she'll think, WTF, bro, I obviously wanted to suck your dick. Good luck out there, my fellow men. If a woman is in a job where she's serving you, the customer, and being friendly, cheerful, smiling and making eye contact with you, she doesn't want to bang you. It's her job to be nice to literally everyone. Men are simple creatures. We don't get hints. The second date I had with my wife, we were sitting in my truck just chatting a little, and she climbed on top of me, took off her shirt and bra, and just started making out with me. It was awesome. I thanked her, and I immediately drove her home. It was until years later that she told me she wanted to have sex with me on our second date. I had no idea. For years. All of them. Stop playing games and wasting everyone's time. My 32-year-old wife is a mother of 2. When she joined this new company, she suddenly changed the wardrobe to more sexy clothes. She used to wax her legs regularly and shave down there. She would tell me that people would be surprised when she tells she has 2 kids. And she looks like a college kid. Turns out she was emotionally cheating with a male colleague 8 years junior who was wooing her with how gorgeous she looked, etc., and might have ended physical had my spidey senses told me to check her mobile chats. Even when a girl ram her tongue down my throat, most guys will be like, maybe she just want to be friends. Caused by girls that keeps male best friend around for years while he's clearly into her. One false misinterpreted signal and you could face accusations in most jurisdictions. Guys simply sucking at reading hints. So guys will tend to play possum unless there is a neon sign. And even there, we'll proceed with caution. Many women feel that they constantly drop hints, but they often go unnoticed. This can lead to frustration. Some believe that instead of hinting, they should be more direct about what they want or need. It's a simple shift, but it could prevent misunderstandings. They might say something like, I wish I didn't have to hint all the time, which is a clear sign they'd prefer more straightforward communication. This way, there's no guessing involved, and it makes things much clearer for everyone involved. Many women feel that they constantly drop hints, but they often go unnoticed. This can lead to frustration. Some believe that instead of hinting, they should be more direct about what they want or need. It's a simple shift, but it could prevent misunderstandings. They might say something like, I wish I didn't have to hint all the time, which is a clear sign they'd prefer more straightforward communication. This way, there's no guessing involved, and it makes things much clearer for everyone involved. I refuse to see all of them. Stop wasting my time, communicate like a mature person. As men, we often miss subtle hints because we're not wired to notice them. It's not that we're ignoring them on purpose, we just don't always catch those small signals. Women might expect us to understand what they mean without saying it directly, but the reality is we often don't. This difference in communication can lead to confusion and missed connections. It's a bit like trying to decode a message in a language we're not fluent in. It's there, but we just don't get it. If you say something suggestive that a woman doesn't acknowledge or pretends not to hear, or causes her to subtly change the subject, don't then say it again. What, do they think that we just went temporarily deaf? You were being given an out. ITT, men hoping to hear hints women give them that they want to sleep with them. Actually ITT, women saying how often they give men hints to fuck off. Don't give us hints. Talk to us. Be blunt. I promise you that we can handle it. Trying to respond to ambiguous hints and not providing the answer you're trying to dig out of is probably going to elicit an awkward, if not creepy, response if there's a misinterpretation. Loneliness is a bitch, but it's light years better than being thought of as creepy. And playing hard to get is dumb. No really does mean no to the majority of guys, and it's a really easy way to get us to try elsewhere. Hints don't work. The risks are too high to take anything seriously. If a guy responds and he's wrong, she could raise the issue to a dean or HR, and he loses his scholarship or his job. My mother drilled into me even before high school. Don't think about women that way, they don't want what men want, and touching a woman could end everything. The only reason I'm not single is because my wife kissed me in a way that made me realize she wasn't just a friend. There was a girl I really liked in high school. I took her to a movie premiere I won tickets to. We hung out all the time. She would often sit on my lap on the bus on the way home from school, even when there were seats available. It took 15 years and me telling my current girlfriend about her for me to understand that yes, this girl was in fact interested in me. Some of us are clueless idiots when it comes to this stuff. Subtle hints like lingering eye contact, playful teasing, or small, thoughtful gestures often go unnoticed. Women might also drop hints about their likes and dislikes or share personal stories to gauge interest. In today's world, where clear consent is crucial, hints simply don't carry the weight they once might have. Hints can be vague, misinterpreted, or completely missed, which is why explicit and honest communication is so important. It's not about being dense, it's about ensuring everyone is on the same page, especially when it comes to matters of consent. In situations where clarity is essential, relying on hints is risky and can lead to serious misunderstandings. That's why many believe hints have lost their place. They don't hold up when things get serious. Hints are a crapshoot. I'm not going to risk acting upon a hint just to be snagged into a potentially dangerous situation. If you want to talk to me, just come out and do it. Start a dialogue. Worst case scenario, the conversation ends. I'll grant the same approach and understand if it's time to say farewell or ask to meet again. All of them, because I've been wrong before. And I'm not the type to take eye contact and a smile laugh for flirting either. I've been certain there was flirting, just for them to tell me they're not actually interested in pursuing something. So I make a point to tell people in my life in general that I really require and appreciate direct communication. And I am very direct with others. In a nice way, of course. And honestly, people usually seem to really appreciate it. I'm talking to a woman and have been the past several weeks. I asked her out, and we've been on a few dates and multiple casual hangouts, so I checked in to see what she was feeling and told her I have no expectations other than communicating. Seemed to be a relief, because she was really burned by her most recent relationship and needs time to actually know how she feels. So we're just going to continue hanging out and communicating. She knows I'm interested, but that it's also okay that she's not sure. And if she decides she'd rather be friends, she knows we'd both be happy with that, because I told her so. I get that some people like the flirting games, but personally, I love taking the guesswork out of things and just talking like adults. Subtle clues such as extended eye contact, light-hearted teasing, or modest, considerate actions frequently go missed. Women may also give suggestions about their likes and dislikes or offer personal anecdotes to evaluate interest. I remember helping a girl out in college. She was in my car, just us two. She wanted to date a guy just like me, kind, funny, courteous, good-looking. So I mentioned guys we know. How about Dave? He's always nice and friendly. Kyle, you said he was cute. Thomas, he's smart and funny. Each guy she rejected. I listed off like 6 guys. Finally, I said, that's about all the guys I know like me. She mutters something and says, never mind, gets out and slams the car door hard. Odd. Don't get mad at me for not knowing other guys like me. 2 years later, I realize, wait, I'm like me. One day, women might realize that men don't interpret things the same way they do. For example, when a woman gives a long, intense stare, many men might assume it's a challenge or even an invitation to conflict rather than a sign of interest. The different ways men and women communicate can often lead to these kinds of misunderstandings. Most hint women give are way too subtle or too much in their head that men can't pick up. Women are extremely bad when it's time to seduce a men. They are great to be attractive but have zero skill to approach men, so hint are often not pick up. Women hint are more like not hint at all than what they think it is. Pretty much all of them. Even being blunt doesn't work for a lot of us because of the sheer number of times interest in us has been used as a weapon. Growing up through high school, the idea of dating me was the butt of a lot of jokes. Girls would feign interest, then bounce because it was fun to make me think I could have a chance. So I tuned it all out. I stopped paying attention because up till then it was all fake, all a joke, all a dig. I couldn't even discuss crushes with friends because word would eventually get out and the mockery would begin. One time I showed up to school surprised to find out from admin and law enforcement that I apparently said I wanted to assault a girl. News to me. Looking back, I ultimately missed out on a lot of potential options because of it from girls who weren't doing that, but because of trauma, I wasn't able to see it. All I could see was the mockery, the lies, the sadness and shame. To this day, a woman can basically ask me out at a bar, and I would 99% just stare at them with a, "Are you fucking for real?" face, completely unable to answer because the past. I'm even in a relationship, and when she says I want to fuck you, I go, "Wait, is this a joke?" Ladies, y'all don't realise how much damage your younger selves do to boys, and it's biting many in the arse now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories. See you in the next one.